We have a very special show for you today. So here's a question. Do you believe in psychic mediums? Well, we had never met Christopher Allan until our reading with him, and let me tell you, it was intense, it was emotional. Christopher will join us live in just a little bit, but first, here is our reading.
I wouldn't say that I'm not a believer in mediums. I would say that I am open.
I'm a little skeptical of mediums, to be honest, because I think they speak in generalities.
I do believe in mediums, the right medium.
So if you guys are ready,
Yeah,
I'm
we're
ready to rock and
ready.
roll.
Yeah, we're ready. Yep.
Okay, so the first thing they showed me is, as I'm focusing on the group, would be actually the gentleman in the brown blazer.
Albert, Al.
Yes. So,
I have a father figure that wants to come through to be first for you. So Dad's passed for us, sir.
yes, please. Yes, he has.
It's so important. It's so important that you know that he needs to be first. He wants to show you this idea of not just the children that you may have as far as your own family, but he feels like he wants to empathize with your attempts or you trying to be there as a father figure for other people in your extended family.
Wow.
And he gives me the impression that he does this with you, but yet I feel like lately we've been meeting some tension with this of how to actually get through to family. So do we have nieces, or are we like, father figures to other people other than our kids?
I have a nephew that I try and keep up with, and I have a cousin.
But yet I feel like their age and what's going on right now almost feels like we're struggling to kind of make sure that like we are effective. And he wants to acknowledge the idea of staying persistent and consistent. He also wants me to say, do we have like a tattoo like right on like
oh my gosh,
our shoulder or like down our arm?
My arm, yes.
Does that have to do with one of them or somebody who's passed on?
It has to do with my grandmother, yes, who's passed on, yes. Yes, sir. So absolutely
This
does.
is who Dad wants to bring up and just make sure like, hey, like there's a little bit of her and everything in you.
I'm always very open to medium readings, but sometimes there are things that kind of turn me off about it. And sometimes there's things that I've been a little bit more closed than I should have been, and I get hit with something that they just couldn't have known any other way.
They're showing me with the woman to the right of you.
Yes.
I also feel like I have an older female that's passed on for you, which would be like mother aunt, and she feels like she just crossed over like in the last year or two, and it feels like it's so important that I acknowledge her connection to you. So did we just lose like an older female in just the last year or so during the pandemic?
Yes. Wow.
Okay. Well, she feels like it's so important to bring up the idea of like celebrating her life and recognizing that like her death should not be this idea where we mourn and we grieve. It feels like her death was this big celebration of like, I left behind a good legacy. She also wants me to bring up, where's Patrick, Patricia, what's the Pat name for your family?
Oh my gosh. That's my aunt.
The one that passed away?
Yes. We couldn't see her, and we knew that she wasn't doing well, and I kept saying that I would come and see her as soon as I was able to like get cleared. We were in COVID, so that's something that weighs on me, that she passed away before I was able to see her.
Yeah, but this is her opportunity to say, if we never got a chance to say goodbye, this is my way to say, in your work world, I'm there, I'm saying hello today. So, it feels like it's so important. I also feel like she has somebody with her that passed away from like a brain disease. So it's important to bring up them as well.
Is that Big Mama?
That's my uncle.
Okay.
It's her brother.
Just my way to say the family's together, everybody's good. You don't have to focus on the loss. We have to celebrate the life lived, and knowing that when we crossed over, all that affected us physically is shed and not a thing anymore. We lose the physical body, but we are our higher selves, and they are to be acknowledged like we're still a part of your life, but in the most best way possible.
I'm a little skeptical, but when they tap in something that only I know, then I start believing. So there is a little bit of belief.
there's got to be this story. I know this is going to come across a little awkward, but I keep on hearing Bob Marley as I'm talking to you guys. Wow. And I feel like that's like a thing.
Well, this is weird. I love Bob Marley. I've always loved Bob Marley, but I just am working on this logo for this new thing that I'm planning, and it has some of my family members in it. But on it, I have a Bob Marley quote around the top.
Dude.
Yeah.
What? Dude, and didn't you listen to Bob Marley when your child...
When my son was born, my second child, was born to Bob Marley. Yeah, I forgot about that.
That's
yeah.
awesome.
I feel like I'm supposed to say, everything is gonna be all right, you know, and associate the idea that, you know, the best thing that I know from Bob Marley is kind of love the life you live the life you love.
That's the quote.
No.
That's the quote on there, I swear.
I just saw it. I've seen the quote.
And this label's not even out yet.
I don't believe people that give what I consider just easy cold reads. I like specifics, details, validations.
Did we get married later in life, if that's an appropriate question I can ask?
Yeah, I got married at like 31.
Would we have looked at ourselves as getting married after everybody else we knew got married?
Yeah, and there's also a feeling of like children. I don't have any children, and I'm 40, so there's a clear feeling of everyone else having children, but me.
So our mom's passed, yes, miss?
Yeah. Yeah.
She wants to bring up that she laughs when you just said what you said to me, that we don't have children, because I'm supposed to bring up your fur babies.
Oh my God. Thank you. Thanks. That's a really hard decision for me to make. And Evelyn, that's who you're talking to. She was the comic of the family. So thank you.
And you know, this is her grandma's way to bring up, I'm aware of that dog and the importance of that dog. So dare you say you have no children, because you definitely do.
I'm excited. Of course you get nervous because you don't want to get your hopes up to connect with someone that you're hoping to connect with.
There is one last thing that I feel like I'm supposed to share with you guys. So it feels like there's something about who connects with the name like Jackson.
Oh, that's my nephew. Jackson's my nephew.
Because that's my nephew too.
Okay.
He's still here, yes?
Yes.
It's so important that Spirit wants me to call out to Jackson. So I don't know if, you know, we lost the older male figure that's connected to that family.
Oh my God. Yeah.
But it's important that we acknowledge not just the family, but that little boy, and say like, I'm good, we're good, family, your angels are always around you. Did somebody just pass away in the last year or two?
Yeah, his dad, my brother-in-law.
His dad?
Yes. Yes, and Jackson's very intuitive.
Well, there's this idea that his dad wants to make sure that we acknowledge things that a 9-year-old boy, I guess, can understand and comprehend. But not just that dad and the family are his angels, but this idea of like that how dad passed should be a testament not to the fact that he ultimately died, but how strong he was.
Yes.
And how much faith and prayers do work, even if death is still the inevitable.
Yes, that's all true.
Daddy connects through music on the radio.
Okay.
So I feel like it's that idea. Have you ever hear that Justin Bieber song?
Don't stop. That's the song. What song? The Ghost of Me.
That was it.
That's the song.
So,
That's the song that they talk about on the playground that got home to my sister, that when Mia and Jackson listened to The Ghost of Me, that it's their song about their dad.
he just wants you to like think about him and imagine him in your head of just standing on a rowboat in the middle of a lake.
The water.
Just going.
The water. Yeah.
And then he wants you to let out a big
Just
burp.
breathe. Just breathe. It's nice to hear
But then he
you
wants
breathe.
me to burp as if I'm supposed to be inappropriate, like.
He's very inappropriate, yes. That is spot on. Tell him thank you for making me laugh and I miss him.
I feel like it's so important that you guys know that the camaraderie of this show is successful because of how your families were. So I feel like there's just this close connection to your families that you guys are that legacy, and it's going to be a success just because I feel like you guys all come from, you know, hardworking middle America backgrounds that make you guys realize, you know, we have this beautiful thing to pass on, not just entertainment, but family values and morals.
Christopher, you have us all in tears. We appreciate you, but DBL Nation, please stay with us because we're going to chat more with Christopher and hear about how you at home can get a reading. We're back in just 2 minutes. Thank you.
Thanks.
Welcome back. Whew. You just saw our emotional reading with psychic medium Christopher Allan, and it's safe to say that we believe and we aren't alone, which is very comforting. Christopher is actually part of a Vegas show, and people in the audience can get a live reading just like we did. Like, we did not speak to Christopher. He had no idea he was coming on to speak to our names, our show. So please, let's welcome to the show Christopher Allan. We'd also like to welcome creator of the Vegas show, Brunched by an Angel, Shane Farley. Yes. Now, we're getting Christopher soon. We're working on that. There's technical difficulties, but welcome. Hello, Shane.
Hi, guys. That actually happens often with psychic mediums. There's always some sort of tech issue that comes along with working with
it's like the energy.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Shane, he should have foresaw this. Shane, we'll get to you right away, buddy. A lot of people don't know that you produced Rachel Ray, Steve Harvey, Rosie O'Donnell. What made you want to produce this Brunch with an Angel? How'd you get into this idea?
Well, having just watched what Christopher did with you guys, that never gets old with me. And when, you know, producing people who are gifted and talented, whether they're actors or musicians or rock star, whatever they are, it's like nobody blew me away more than someone who had talents and gifts that I couldn't explain. And having psychic mediums in my studio over the years, I would just watch the reaction from the audience. Not only were they entertained, but they left healed. You know, they felt better about themselves. They either got something off their chest, or they had a connection happen that was so profound that they left. And it's the psychic medium sometimes can do things in a single conversation that a therapist sometimes takes months or even years to do.
So I think this is so compelling because obviously I've been a believer from the start, and just the idea of the way that Christopher did this. I had never spoken about the circumstances of my uncle's death for anyone to know something like that. But it's a brunch, so it feels like if people aren't as in tune as some of us, it's almost like a easier step in, so to speak. Was that intentional?
Yes, because when you first come in, there's a band playing, right? So that just sort of raises the vibration just for everybody. So you sit down, you eat. But also, if you think about the people that you love, that you want to connect with, and your favorite memories of them, usually it's around eating, right? It's in the kitchen. It's at the table, it's at a restaurant. Those are our memories oftentimes. So to sort of position this in a sort of disarming way around brunch, because if you're gonna get a message, you might as well do it while you're having a mimosa and French toast, right? It just makes everything easier.
Yeah, absolutely.
And by the way, our show not only has Christopher, but it has Reginald Lewis and Lorianne Mans, who are at that same level as him. So they're coming down and they are just, it's like reading after reading after reading. So you have a really good shot of being read, and that's the most important thing at a show like this.
Yeah.
I have to ask, because you're in such a unique position. You know, a lot of people can say they're skeptical because they've dealt with the medium and they didn't believe, or maybe they'll encounter one or two mediums throughout their lifetime. You've worked with a number of them, so you have to have a way that you vet them. So was there a moment where you were just blown away by what Christopher did, where you were like, I have to work with this person in some way? Was there a moment you can pinpoint where you said, this guy's the real deal?
Yeah, maybe. You know, that's a great question. It's almost like, is there a first moment where he blew me away, or is there every moment? Just for your reading, you know, talking about how you are sort of a mentor to a young family member, and then if you look at it again, he's like saying your tattoo, and I'm pretty sure he's never seen you without your shirt on.
No,
so
not yet.
That just blows me away. It never gets old for me. I can watch it over and over again.
Wow. Well, Shane, we're going to still work on getting Christopher in. Okay, so DBL Nation, stay with us, but Brunched by an Angel is at the Palms Hotel in Vegas. You can visit brunchedbyangel.com for tickets. Christopher, or Shane, thank you so much. Hoping to get Shane back. Thank you. Or Christopher back.
Bye, Chris.
please welcome back to the show. So Christopher Allan, are you there? There he is. Okay, Shane. Oh, he's not. But we can't hear.
Oh, we got him.
Oh, wait.
No, I made it. I'm here.
Oh, he's kidding. Okay, so
I'm just playing with you.
He's funny too. Christopher, before we get started, I just have to talk about what it was like. What was it like for you hearing everything that you had to say and what that must have felt like? What you witnessed?
Yeah, I mean, when I give readings to people, I really have to somehow emotionally disconnect a little and be able to give the messages. But when I listen back, I get emotional just like everybody else. And I was fighting back, I guess, the lump in the throat. It was absolutely beautiful how you showcased the readings.
Erica, what was it like for you?
You know, I mentioned to Shane that there was no way that you could have known anything about my uncle. I hadn't spoke publicly about the circumstances of his death, and to put my uncle and my aunt together. And there was a part where we didn't get to show, but you asked about the teacher, which was my mom. So it was really the trifecta. And my mother's still with us. So that was comforting. And I think it really helped her as well. So I really appreciate that.
You are very welcome.
Absolutely. I have to ask you, Christopher, I'm just very curious what it was like when you go to the other side. Are you overwhelmed? Is it scary? Are you seeing shadows? Are you seeing symbols? Could you just give us a little intake on that?
Yeah, I feel like I'm here to do this work, to show how this work really works. It's really love. If I have to use one word, that's what I feel when I'm tuning in to spirit. So there's no night vision goggles needed or voice boxes, and there's no shadows and sadness. It is literally the feeling and the melody of love.
Wow. Beautifully stated.
Oh my
wow.
I wish we had more time.
Yeah, we wish we did too. You are a real gift. DBL Nation, you can catch Christopher in Brunched by an Angel. It is at the Palms Hotel in Vegas. You can visit brunchbyanangel.com for tickets. Christopher, thank you so much. We hope we get to talk to you again soon.
So healing.
We'll be right back. So healing.
Right?
Thank you.
Brother.